Yo, what's up guys, it's Suraj from Tech Devoted and I recently bought the Pocophone F1. I actually filmed an unboxing this time, but it turned out to be an embarrassingly bad fail, so I'm just gonna toss it in the stuff that I'll never show you folder. Or maybe I'll show it to you someday, I don't know, but for now just know that I got the 6GB RAM, 64GB ROM, graphite black variant of the Pocophone F1. This time I bought it from mi.com with insurance because if you don't already know, I have terrible, and I mean terrible history with Xiaomi phones. Here is my Redmi Note 4 and here is my Redmi Note 5 Pro. So this time, even if things go south with my new Xiaomi phone, which they probably will, I should be covered. At least I'm hoping I am. So I've been using the Poco. Oh, by the way, just to put it out there, I absolutely hate the name. These Chinese guys really need to work on their nomenclature. It's honestly about time. But yeah, I've been using the device for about 24 hours now. So day one has, as always, mostly been about setting the device up, transferring the files from my previous device, which was the Note 5 Pro, to this, and doing other basic stuff like going on social media and things like that. I was actually out on a shoot today, so as a result I did click quite a few pictures, and from my first impressions, boy, this camera is something else. I'll toss some samples, but that's it. I'm not going to talk any more till the full review, but in a nutshell, this camera seems to be really promising from the first impressions. I also played PUBG for the first time ever. Can finally check that one off my bucket list. I played for about 45 minutes and the experience was pretty smooth. There were no frame drops or overheating issues. But in general, the phone has been pretty fluid so far. It finally feels like a phone is keeping up with me. I type pretty fast and I'm always switching back and forth between apps, so the phone is able to handle all that pretty well. I should also mention that this is probably my first ever flagship grade smartphone, if I can use that term, that I have bought for myself. Before this I have used flagship phones, but they were always on loaner basis. But this time I'm going to be using a Snapdragon 845 device on the daily on a long-term basis, so I'm pretty stoked to see how it holds up. Of course, this is the first impressions, but we'll see how it holds up in the long term. The display on this is absolutely gorgeous. Sure, it's not AMOLED, but in my opinion, the colors, they are just the right saturation. The viewing angles are amazing. The temperature is on point. On my Note 5 Pro, I know I used to feel like the colors were a bit too oversaturated, and that used to bug me a lot because I tend to do color sensitive work, so to be able to have a color accurate display is quite essential. You know what else is gorgeous? My Instagram feed. Don't believe me? Check it out. It's at suraj.jpg. If you don't think it's nice, DM me, we'll talk about it and we'll see how it can improve. Also on Instagram as well as Twitter, for those of you that are into expressing your thoughts in 280 characters, are going to be some photo samples shot on the Poco F1. So if that isn't a good enough reason to follow, I don't know what is. Okay guys, today is my day 2 with the Poco F1, and today was what I would call a real world usage test, since I spent most of my time in college today, and typically on an average day that is where I spend my time, since I am a full-time student, in case you didn't know that. But while I was in college today, I had one major aha moment. So I study filmmaking in college, in case you didn't know, and what that means is we end up watching a lot of films. I am not complaining, that is great, but this means that we use the projector a lot, and typically I am the guy turning on the projector, since my previous device, the Redmi Note 5 Pro, it had an IR blaster. So all I would do is turn on my phone, open the MI remote and hit on, and the projector would turn on, simple as that. So today I'm just sitting in class and I take out my phone, I search, I go to the search and I type MI remote, and then I realize, shit, this phone doesn't have an IR blaster. It's not a huge deal, I can definitely go back to not having an IR blaster, but it does make a difference. I miss it, I really do. Now I realized I haven't talked about the big notch and the bezel at the bottom yet. So to be honest, I don't really mind it. I think I'm a bit more tolerant than most people. Honestly, I wouldn't mind even pixel big bezels, I'll take it. But what I kind of dislike is that is this the consequence of the big notch, which is that it hides information. I can't see notifications, I can't see the battery percentage. I have to swipe down to be able to do any of that, which is an extra step. I guess dislike is a strong word. All I'm trying to say is it's going to take a bit of getting used to. One last thing I want to talk about is face unlock, and it works amazingly well. It works really well even at night. And the funny thing is, Xiaomi at the time of setup, they say that face unlock is still a work in progress. It may not work that well. So what that kind of did, it brought my expectations down completely. But then I try the thing out and it works amazingly well. Works 9 times out of 10 even at night. So yeah, so far I'm really liking the Poco F1, if you can't already tell. Typically I would also comment on the battery life, but this time I'm just gonna hold my judgment till the final review, which if you don't want to miss, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you know when the video goes live. If you like this one, give it a like. If you didn't, vote it down, let me know in the comments why you didn't like it. It's been Suraj. Thanks so much for watching. Take it easy and stay devoted.